This video is a quick introduction to ChemPoint Standard. ChemPoint Standard is an environmental data management desktop application for Windows, and it's pretty easy to use and has a lot of nice features. So let's take a look at some of them. From the File menu, I'm going to click Example Dataset, and this opens up a sample dataset, just an example facility. The first view that we have is the facility data tree. Environmental data is hierarchical in nature, and the facility data tree allows us to view this hierarchy. We have sampling dates, we have locations sampled on those dates, we have containers that were used to collect the data, and then for each container we have the chemical parameters that were analyzed. We can look at the sample tree from the point of view of the sampling dates. Sampling locations are from parameters. I can right click on an item and I can edit that data. Edit sample date, edit location, and I can provide all of this extra information. I can go to the dates and locations view, and I can see my sampling dates and my sampling locations. And I can add a sampling date or add a sampling location if I want. Also, this is where you would set the gradient for your sampling locations. Here's the gradient, up gradient, down gradient, and everything else. And this is important for statistics if you're going to use ChemStat for your statistical analysis. From the facility parameters view, I can look at all the parameters for that facility. The parameters group view allows you to group parameters in such a way that makes it easier to enter data manually. If you are going to import all of your data from a laboratory, you can completely ignore this view. The sampling event view is also used to enter data manually. If you're importing your data, you can ignore this view. There is another video on how to enter data manually in ChemPoint Professional, but it is still tedious. You still want to import your data from the laboratory if at all possible. And then finally, in the post-analysis view, we have a grid for our data where we can enter the data manually using a spreadsheet style grid. This is mostly useful if you're entering data manually, but it is also useful to validate your data that you have imported. We have a reports view. ChemPoint has a number of built-in reports. You can select them here. For example, a single location report shows all of your data for a single sampling location. A single date report shows all of your data for a single sampling date. It is very convenient because you don't need to use any third-party reporting products. From the File menu, you can save your reports as templates. You can export your report as a tab-delimited text file for analysis elsewhere or presentation elsewhere. And finally, ChemPoint has some simple well construction diagrams with a variety of options. And those can be convenient if you need well construction diagrams, and they are highly customizable. You can customize your diagrams and save them as templates from the File menu. ChemPoint uses a proprietary database format. It is a file with a CP4 file extension and is a binary file to get technical. You might wonder how you can get your data out of the program if you need it in some other program. From the File menu, you can select Export and Tab Delimited Text, and that will export all of the data out to tab delimited text files, which will allow you to transfer it to another program. You also can back up your data and restore your data. On the Import menu is where you can import a variety of different data files. The universal importer is what you would use to import Microsoft Excel or text files or DBase files from your laboratory data. That is covered in another video. These are your other import options, and these are your other export options. For most users of ChemPoint, The most important will be ChemStat, which allows you to export your data to the ChemStat format for statistical analysis.